Hello, good people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this from. My name is Audrey, and I'm a high school teacher of English language and literature. I'm currently teaching the Middle Years program and the diploma program in the International Baccalaureate framework. So, I got a couple of questions in terms of the challenges that people face while living and teaching abroad, or as educators living abroad. And I listed down a couple where probably about 10 of them that I'll be discussing with you so that you are prepared. If by any chance you get a chance or an opportunity to work or teach abroad, you should be prepared for this. But it doesn't mean that it applies to every country, but these are the most common ones. Having lived and worked abroad for 8 years, I would say, yeah, some of these are the most common ones. So the first one is the visa process. You might encounter challenges when it comes to processing the visa. First of all, you need to get your documents notarized, and then, of course, expect an invitation from a school and be able to process the visa. In most cases, you find that a school will do everything for you and just send you the visa. But in other incidences, you might be required to actually process the visa by yourself, which sometimes can be hectic. And I know a couple of people who have also had challenges in terms of acquiring their visas, like in last minute, it is declined. So that is something you should be prepared for. But I mean, there have been cases where most of us have been successful, so not really a hassle. Number two, the teaching license. Some schools, or I would say some countries, require you to have a UK qualification or to have a teaching license from your country of origin. So that is the first thing that you need to acquire after your degree. And again, also this needs to be notarized by your institution and then the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. By the institution and then the Ministry of Education and then to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thereafter, you can be able to go with it to the embassy. So again, other than your degree, your teaching license is very important. And most of the time, if you do not have these, you might not end up getting the job. Three, I would say safety, but this also is in terms of the countries you're moving in. You should be able to do a background check in terms of the security. If the insecurity cases are way too high, then that is something you should avoid. But if it is something that is minimal, then, I mean, you could consider. But then again, safety also comes in hand with the aspect of being an expatriate. So you might find people who would want to overcharge you, who would target you or want to steal from you. So again, find out about that. The most common one is the job stress. I wouldn't lie to you. Teaching in international schools is so demanding. You have to be super good at your job. You have to be flexible because in most cases, there are always twists. So being in a foreign land, having to adapt, and then the pressure that comes with it with the kids, it's just not an easy task, I would say. And these will also test your resilience, like how resilient are you in terms of changes? Are you able to adapt? Are you the type to complain and pack your bags and leave? Or are you the type to, hold on and do the job? So yeah, that one I can't lie to you. The fact that it's a bit different from what you've been doing all the time, then it requires a lot of dedication, a lot of persistence, a lot of commitment and flexibility. Number 5, the language barrier. If by any chance you're moving into a country where English is not where English is not the official language, you might have a problem with the level of students in terms of their language ability. And also for your case, if you are moving from, or maybe you're going out to get groceries or you want to interact with the locals and you can't be able to speak in the language, then it could be a hindrance. But we have Google Translate, so that is something you might have to use. You'll find some schools actually will offer you language sessions in the language of that particular country, so it is a bonus. but it will be hectic. I have experienced this. Even with taxi drivers, if they don't understand English completely, it might be very hard for them to communicate with you. So you have to ensure that your Google Translate is on. And what if you don't have if you do not have data, sorry, then it might be a hindrance. But again, there are always ways to maneuver. That's what I would say. It's not mandatory for you to know the language. It's not mandatory, but I mean, in the context of just one-to-one communication on spot, it could be hectic. Number 6, cultural adjustment. Oh my goodness. You know, if you're moving to a different country, of course, the culture is totally different from yours, the traditions, the values, the beliefs. Some could be similar, some could be different. For example, if you're moving to Middle East, it's a fully Islam state. So even your mode of dressing when going to work, you have to put into consideration your choice of words, where you're speaking, how you conduct yourself everywhere. And that is one. 2, also aspects to do with religion. You might go to countries that really do not enforce religion on people. So people have a freedom in terms of being religious, in terms of being atheists, and you cannot question. Yeah, you can't question. You have to understand that people have choices and you have to respect that. Again, something else, you might also have cultural clashes, depending with where you are. But I mean, if you're tolerant enough, you're able to appreciate and respect other people's culture, it will be very easy for you to adjust. But if you're somebody who's adamant, you might find other people being aggressive. You might not like their way of talking, their way of dressing, but that is your opinion. No one really cares about it. So unfortunately, those are things you have to deal with. But what I'd advocate for is aspects of cultural diversity. Just understand that we're different people. We come from different backgrounds, with different cultures, religion, beliefs, and we are all in this planet to live and survive. I talked about cultural diversity or cultural adjustment. Also, religion comes in. If you're a religious person, you might have issues with people who are non-religious, but you have to understand that it's not mandatory for everyone. So that is something. Again, let's say you're a Christian and you're moving into an Islam state. Yeah, most of these Islam states have churches, so it will be very easy for you to find a church. Maybe commuting to those places might be a hindrance, but again, it's something that is doable. Food. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that one, be prepared. You will find basic, you know, food stuff like rice, bread. As a Kenyan, you might not find flour, that is maize flour or sorghum flour. You won't find that. So, but there are substitutes for it, like semolina. So you can use semolina to make ugali. Unfortunately, and if you're traveling to places like China or Japan, of course, their choices of meals are totally different from what we have in our African settings, yeah? Although the food might be a hindrance, but you will always find substitutes for it. That one I can assure you. So you might have to improvise. I would recommend you carry your spices if you're somebody who loves spices from back at home. Carry them with you. Normally, when I travel to Kenya and I'm coming back to work, I normally carry my fried chicken, grilled nyama choma. Yeah, I have to carry that. Carry some spices, some Royco, carry some peanut. I love the peanut butter from Kenya. I'm picky. Yeah, I love Blue Band as well. A little bit of coffee, tea leaves. I mean, things that you can't be able to find. But you'll find substitutes for this. It's not a must for you too. I mean, where is the aspect of being culturally diverse? You can try their food. So, you will like it. I have tried horse meat. The first time I worked in Uzbekistan, I had my first time testing horse meat. I didn't like it. It was too salty for me. And then it serves a purpose for men. I'm not going into details. Another challenge that you'll encounter is climate change. Yeah. Like, for instance, in Moscow, it gets as low as -26, -27. It's super cold. But you have to find a way in terms of your mode of dressing. It's so warm. Like right now, I'm just coming from work. And I, of course, have removed my Marvin, my scarf, my trench coat, my shoes. I've removed them, but it's always heated. Like in the buildings, in cars, in the buses, in the metros, it's super warm. So you won't feel cold. You'll only feel the cold once you step outside and you are inappropriately dressed. Like you're not properly dressed for winter. So maybe that is the time you'll face the harsh climate aspect. I mean, the harsh winter. Other countries, you'll find extreme summers. So again, be prepared. You'd rather stay indoors, and I've seen most people take walks in the evening, so it's a bit conducive for people to walk in the evening. Again, also the AC, it's not good to be under the AC all the time. So probably you just recommend to, you're recommended to leave your windows open for aspects of fresh air. But again, you might come across countries that are full of humidity. Like even if it's cold, the humidity is way too high. So that might be a hindrance again for you. Next one is homesickness. Oh my goodness, yeah, this one, I wouldn't lie to you, and loneliness, yeah. It's really hard making friends abroad. You might find your colleagues as your friends, but I mean, you can't be able to spend the entire week with your colleagues, again, the entire weekend with them. It will be very hectic for you. So making friends is a bit hectic. Moreover, in countries like Europe, in UK, in the US, unless you find a Kenyan community for you. Loneliness will also creep in most cases because, you miss home. You miss friends, you are by yourself. At the moment, I'm with my daughter, so at least I get somebody to converse with. But imagine if you're traveling as a single person, or you're traveling as a single person and you've left your family back at home, that aspect. But you would be able to use WhatsApp to call back at home, or Facebook. At least you'll be able to, catch up with a few friends. But the loneliness is there. And then something else, I think I would say maybe the cost of living. Of course, coming from a third world country and moving to first world countries, the cost of living is not the same. But that is the reason why you're working abroad. So the salary should be able to compensate this. Yeah, your salary should be able to compensate for this. The cost of living is a bit high. Also, paying for utilities, basic needs, it's a bit costly. But again, if we've been able to do it, I believe every other person can be able to do it. So these are just the common. I just try to highlight the most common challenges that are there in terms of teaching and living abroad. What else have I forgotten? Probably I'll focus on the aspect of just teaching, which is in terms of the international curriculum. Maybe that one I can do it in another video, but these are the most common ones for everyone who's living abroad as an educator or as a nurse or in any other profession. Anyway, thank you for your time, and I hope to see you next time. Please remember to follow me back. I'm trying to do these TikTok videos. So thank you so much. Bye.